All
6
right,
months
well,
belt since I got off the road.
while Taco Vibes only crucifies us,
This isn't that bad.
what was some memorable bad advice that you guys
Here we go.
thought of, that you were given or received when you were first getting in? We talked about on here
I got props
about
for this one.
being too geared up,
Yeah.
going to certain fields.
Going to certain fields.
And you talked about like people feeding you false information to make up your own opinions on stuff, and to be careful on where and who you buy from.
Yeah, that'll be expand on the first gun story a little bit.
Is that too much?
No.
No. Yes. We'll know when he starts crying. We'll find out.
It slid
You can
out.
dab a little off if you want.
Slid out there like Rick's anus.
Yeah, we never actually finished telling that story about Wisconsin.
Yeah.
We got sidetracked by something. I don't remember
I
what.
don't remember either.
That may be an extra story.
Yeah, that'll be an extra story at the end, bonus. It's good.
That's good.
It's really good.
Yeah, that's good. Definitely harder than the last two, but still pretty good.
Yeah. Significantly hotter than last year.
Yeah, yeah.
And it builds.
Yeah, I would almost say,
Pretty
Darren,
warm.
Yeah.
I would almost put those toward the front. I know it kind of takes away from the enjoyment of them because you can't enjoy them after you've had the first couple, but like in terms of heat,
Yeah,
those are very, very light.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
It's good.
I think that's the quietest we've been the entire time.
Maybe for a moment. Mouthful. I have hiccups.
It gave
now.
you the hiccups.
Yeah, dude. That's weird because these never did. It has been a while though.
This is how this starts. That's how that started the last time.
I never had hiccups. I don't remember hiccups.
For the puking story, yes, you did.
I don't remember that.
And that's how it started.
So Taco Vibes only. It is pretty warm,
Yeah.
but that actually really tastes good.
It's, yeah, all three of these taste good, in my opinion.
All right. So am I starting or are you starting?
Who started the last time? That heat
I feel like-
scrambled my brain.
I feel like I did.
Yep. Okay. Worst advice. So, I mean, I guess we talked about it a little bit in the beginning. You know, I had come into it with some experience with airsoft. Rick had paintball, so similar enough. We watched a bunch of YouTubers and stuff like that. Things like Negative Airsoft and his teardowns of and repairs of guns and seeing kind of what went wrong with some
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah, he's a big tech tuber.
tuber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still make videos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, just kind of ran down through the gambit. And like, I guess some of the worst advice probably was my fault to begin with, if we're being honest. Because even some of those YouTube videos talked about not really needing to like get too much gear.
Yeah.
And gear bloat. So we're like, okay, well, we'll just get this, right?
And get started.
And so we got, you know, vest, and
That's actually majority of his original gear.
that is my original gear. Yeah, I've added a few things to it, but I've pretty much stayed with it. But the things that I've taken away, are things like the helmet. Honestly, that was good when we were in like Dayton Battleground, and there was a lot of like
Well, I-70 was
I-70.
there was a lot of head trauma, potential head trauma issues there.
Yeah. So where there was a lot of
I just wear a ball. I just wear a ball cap anymore.
yeah,
Right, yeah.
and that's
I went to
that's what
this,
I
yeah.
that's what I did as well, as I went to the ball cap. But in the beginning, when we were first getting our fitting, playing it somewhere that has a lot of hazards like I-70, Dayton Battleground being a lot of concrete.
The long concrete.
made it something worth doing. Honestly, though, it got the most use at Dayton's Battleground before they cleared that brush line along the tracks.
Yeah.
Where I just put my head straight down
We
and
talked about
forced
this
my
earlier.
way
Yeah.
through.
Just bulldoze our way in, make our own trail.
Yeah. You know, so it was really good for stuff like that, but honestly, overkill for most of the stuff we did.
Yeah, I mostly bought my helmet so I could put the GoPro on it.
Yeah. And I
He
had
his
GoPro,
GoPro.
and that was a mistake. It
I
really
did it.
was.
I did it because of the goggles that I'd gotten. We didn't really know things like the EOTech
No, the ESSs.
or the EOS.
Because I'm a glasses wearer, I wore goggles for the first while, and I actually got contacts mostly because of airsoft, so I could wear
Yeah.
ESSs. He had gotten some Oakleys on the trip down to
Yeah,
Brushy.
I got those from Loudermilk as well.
Yeah. Because we stopped in, because we were on the way down, we stopped at like every sporting goods store on the
Trying
way
to
down.
look for a good pair of iPro.
Look for good iPro, looking for bags,
Yeah.
which is one of my tips, by the way.
We have the new ESS goggles where you can get the RX inserts and stuff for them.
Oh, yeah?
At the field.
Mhm.
I might
But-
need because I can. I mean, I know most of you guys we don't require gaskets anymore. I personally still think the gaskets are a good idea just because of how many times like
I don't disagree.
I've seen like on my old goggles, I managed to get BBs inside of them, like the full face ones. They'd find a way in somehow, but at least having that gasket slowed it down.
But yeah, so it was just like we bought a lot, and you know, the fact that I still use a lot of my first set of gear honestly means that we did pretty good.
Yeah.
But there was some bloat. Like one of the things that he actually he finds
I like.
is one of his best pieces of gear is actually one of the first ones that I got rid of. So like I had a drop leg holster for my pistol right off the bat. Let me see. I should have prepped this a little bit better.
So this is the pouch. Well, he's talking about his drop.
So I had a
Drop
leg holster and that pouch, one on either leg, right?
Mm-hmm.
Running around
I love this thing.
in I-70, even running around Dayton Battleground, like I would drop down and crawl a lot or get on my stomach a lot or whatever, and I found that stuff all kind of got in my way.
Yep.
I found that like one of the best pieces was the pistol that I had from Jump, right? And I found that rather than using my leg holster, I was actually just tucking it in the corner of my vest, something you would never do with a real firearm for sure.
Yeah.
But
if you want a bullet in your stomach.
right, but just because it, you know, it
God, that's so wrinkly.
just right in between
I'm
the
sorry.
arm.
With talking about that, I saw this YouTube video today. This guy was doing a podcast, and he reached in his pocket for some and fucking shot out of his pocket, ricocheted off the ground, hit somebody.
Oh my God.
And then the host was like, "Who shot their gun? Who got hit?" I was like, as calm as could be, but the guy that shot it, he was like,
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh my God."
So like I found keeping all of the stuff like in my chest rig, right? One of the things that I did was I put my speed loader in one of my mag pouches. And when you're not at a MilSim event and you can carry your speed loader on you, that with having 2 double pouches for mags, like that's more than enough for a field. So like I was carrying the leg pouch, and I had like 12 mags
Oh my God.
altogether of the mid caps.
Oh yeah, no, I
because
would go
we
in
bought enough with the idea that eventually we were going to go to one of these big events.
and wanted to be able to not have to worry about ammo. I would
And-
carry onto I-70.
Yeah.
I would have like 15 plus
Yeah.
mags on me. But the
Yeah.
plus thing is like I would load up before.
Now
like,
these
the
are
night
150
before.
caps, the mid
Yeah,
caps.
these aren't
aren't
your
the ones
250
that-
EPMs.
yeah, right.
I wouldn't
So
need as many if I
they
had those.
Didn't, they didn't have those.
Yeah, but
back
still,
in our day.
like 15 mags.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I would load up before I even went to I-70 in the morning.
I thought you were like in a MilSim. I thought there was a cap on how many mags
There-
you could burn.
there
There was, and yeah,
But
like
you just-
half the time I wouldn't even.
But he
have-
was taking them for I-70, and I'm like, why?
Well, so like when I want to take
but
this
there
to
were
our
times
events,
where he would just sit there, like
I would get
hunkered
in-
at a point, and
and
just
I would go through them.
blow through his
Yeah.
rounds.
I would just be holding a spot, just defending
There's
against.
a reason why nobody could get us in the chow hall. Okay, it was just
Gotcha,
because
yeah.
we had enough ammunition
this
between the
chow
two
hall,
of
and
us.
yeah, it was full, and it wasn't by the time we were empty.
Well, good luck doing that anymore because we got mag limits and stuff. So.
Yeah.
But
You gotta hope that you find them because I'll be honest, American Milsim never noticed that I had my my
never check 'em.
speed loader on me the entire time.
Yeah, I mean, you can put these restrictions on there, and then it requires people to actually look.
right.
Yeah.
And,
to
and a lot
uphold
of places don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
They say they do. The only thing they actually usually check is to make sure that you're not shooting hot. And
That's the biggest thing. But when you got like 600 people there, good luck
I-70 didn't
checking
do
it
that.
out.
yeah, I mean,
Good
what are you
luck.
gonna, by the time someone you could check them as they're coming through to check when they're doing their chrono, but like once they get past chrono,
They're back to their vehicle.
they're back to their vehicle. They're loading themselves
kits.
up. You don't know what they've got in their pockets. You don't know what they've got in any pouches.
Yeah, there
if
is
someone's in a ghillie suit, good luck.
There
You
is
don't know what
a-
they're wearing.
yeah, there's an honor system.
Yeah.
For sure.
Now,
Honestly, though, that shooting hot stuff though is also part of the reason why I like I-70 full goggles
yeah,
and helmet and the mesh mask because that was before Lucas ever lost a tooth.
Yeah.
Right. That was one of my biggest fears was getting shot in the mouth or something along
Absolutely.
those lines.
and on
and
that note, one of my worst things that I picked up from while we're doing our research was this mask. Now, there's a YouTuber out there. I'm not sure if he still does it. Is Dutch the Hooligan, who I saw wearing one of these masks, and I thought that's fucking cool because it has the slot for your nose, so you're not. A lot of times when you're wearing those masks, that's part of the problem. You got your nose covered, it's blowing the steam up into your glasses. That's fucking cool.
Even
wore
the
this
mesh
once.
ones that are pretty bad with that, with your nose being
Yeah.
in there because it just clogs
Yeah,
up
these-
with sweat
Yeah,
and
I
stuff.
wore this
yeah.
once, and it was terrible. Never wore it again.
What didn't you like about it?
It didn't fit very well. It didn't actually do that good of a job. I was still fogging up. I'm not sure how. Well, I don't think that YouTuber has glasses, so it probably doesn't bother him.
Well, I would assume that if you breathe through your mouth in there, it would still force.
I think it's part of it is
because there's all,
because
just
I'm
those perforated
always
holes.
I'm allergic. I'm not saying allergic to everything. I'm pretty allergic to everything though. But my sinuses are always clogged
He's
up.
allergic to everything.
I pretty
Yeah.
much am. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
I'm allergic to my own sweat at times too. But like, because I can't breathe through my nose very well because I'm constantly congested, I breathe through my mouth, quite a bit, especially when I'm running up and down a field. So like, if I'm constantly breathing through that thing, yeah, it just didn't work out. Versus what he's showing you here.
Yeah, there was very little.
I used to run one of those.
Well,
yeah.
this was
This
actually.
was the reason why Marmar couldn't tell us.
Yeah.
You're backwards there, my guy.
Am I? Yeah, special ed right
I
there.
thought we brought Joe Biden on the show.
I was Joe Biden at I-70.
He
I was
was.
so sure you hated me that day. I was like, what
No.
did I do? I just joined the team.
I had no one else wanted to be it, and I needed someone who was responsible enough to carry it out.
You know how many times I got shot in the back that day?
I chose you with love.
Yeah, sure.
But like, we modified these with little pins so that we could attach the helmet attachments to
Yeah.
get them to hook right up in there. So you don't even need this back
Yeah,
strap.
that's the
Yep.
great thing about those helmets, like with the amount of
They're
stuff that
so
you can
modular.
modify to fit on there. Because I used to run basically that same setup.
Yep.
Yep. It takes, and the nice thing too is like when you're,
Look, you
between-
smoke right now with your glasses.
I know, right?
Oh
but
my
like
God.
between games, you don't have to take everything off. You just pop that down, and it's still hanging there. I
Yeah.
loved it. And the only reason why I stopped is because I just didn't need all the helmet, and I moved away from the mask to something else I have back there for
You know,
later.
I found myself hitting my head on more things.
Yeah,
wearing that.
Well,
I
it's because
did
you got
too.
additional like inch or so of padding here,
Yeah.
and you, as
You know
a
how-
human, you know where your limit is, and if all of a sudden you got another extra inch, you're gonna hit your head. I mean, we were talking about before we started. I got all these like dings. This isn't like half. This isn't even. There's a couple white marks on here, maybe from BBs, but also from something else. But there's all kinds of crap scraped on here from just hitting my head on everything.
Yeah.
I mean, this does just the same thing.
Yeah,
Well,
and then sometimes too when you're crouched down in the trees and you have to lift your head up real high.
Yep.
Yep.
Like that helmet just gets pushed forward.
Just
'cause-
enough.
Yeah.
Or it's just enough to poke over the lip, and then someone takes a hit and pings
Get
you off the
on
top of your head.
the
Yeah.
helmet, yeah.
But it forces that helmet down over your eyes, so then you don't have a good field of view too. So it was like,
Yeah.
get rid of that.
Yeah.
Just give me a ball cap. If I get hit, I get hit. This ain't real life.
Right. Yeah. I mean, obviously, when I through that Battlegrounds, when I finally retired, I mean, I haven't officially retired, I would probably still wear this. But more often than not, when I do play now, it's going to be with this and with that instead of the
Yeah,
mesh
just not
mask.
the patch though.
No, the patch goes. Patch stays, baby.
No,
But yeah, so
we need to get some new ones.
yeah.
Truthfully,
No, I'm gonna keep the dash.
They're a good memory because
It's funny.
well, you got to think,
Are you
right?
talking about the dash patch?
It's just the older G2 patches in general.
Oh,
It's a
so we might actually go back to those.
Which ones?
The
What?
triangle.
yeah.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Well,
I never got one of those.
I still get, even though we have these issues with these, right? I still kind of consider these, because it's
They're
what
historical.
it was
Yeah.
what was being
That's
handed out to
really the
everybody.
reason why I
And
still
so-
rock it.
So you think about it from the
I don't really care. I just like.
I know,
I
I
just
know.
like the joke.
you
It's
think
funny.
about it from the mentality though of like these were the things that we were aspiring to do and get and everything when we first got into airsoft, and so in regardless of some parts of it being
Super
tainted
negative.
by
Yeah.
individuals, like it's
It's still us.
yeah,
There's
it's-
still one.
I
there's still
can't let
us.
that be taken
there's
away.
a story. And yeah, like there's always a little bit of me. It's like I would love to give it a new. I almost
I would
enjoy.
prefer not to show those across everywhere
yeah.
because of the bad stigma that came from them.
I'm trying to
Change the stigma yourself.
Yeah, rehabilitate is the word I was looking for. I'm trying to rehabilitate that stigma.
Well, I mean, nobody else aside from us even knows
Knows
anything
what the-
about the
yeah.
dash.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
except for that they see us arguing about it.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm going for. Is I want you guys to see us joking with each other about this patch rather than what does it actually mean? Nothing
Yeah.
really, except for who brought it to us.
Slight tangent though, but I'm gonna try to take that off there. For Brushy Mountain beating one of the worst mill sims that we ever went to, they had one of the best team patches.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
yeah.
that
It
was
was
one of
it.
the best patches.
Oh
yeah.
my god, like, yeah, that is
The only
always
patch
been-
that's probably better than that is
The G2 patch?
The G2 patches, they're definitely far superior.
yeah.
Yeah, what we were thinking about maybe potentially going back to the old one. Yeah, so the
Yeah.
only reason why we went to those was because we wanted to rebrand what G2 was, because like you mentioned with some of the bad stigma stuff about
Yeah.
people telling you things about like I guess like how strict we were with
Mm-hmm.
being military, or that I don't know, you mentioned something else like we did bad things or whatever.
There was just an elitist.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
elitism,
there is
yeah.
stuff, and with I-70 being, I mean, we had so much trouble trying to get people in the beginning to come out until we started offering like the free lunches and stuff or the dinners where then that would really bring the people in. It was just such a struggle. I was like, okay, well, we need to kind of rebrand so that it kind of washes that stuff away.
And it's funny because like after some of the people who told us to stay away from G2 because of how supposedly elitist you were and about don't try joining them because they're military. Once we were on the team, all of a sudden it was like, oh well, because a couple of them actually said it to us. It was like, well, I figure if you're on the team, it can't be as bad as we thought it was or we heard it was. And they started coming around, and some of them are still part of our community to this day.
Yeah.
And it's not to take credit for that, but it's kind of a nice feeling to know that we were able to change some of that minds
Yeah.
about a team that is clearly not elitist. Yeah, we'll joke with each other about some like how good are you, but it's all jokes and in love, and it absolutely no elitism. Like how many times do you get a new player out in the field that we're right there helping? Again, I can't really say we because I haven't been there, but like I know from having been there during Battlegrounds, and I know Marmar. I know he'll still be right there with a new kid to help them.
Oh yeah,
So like
we have new people come out all the time,
Yeah.
and we'll even like, hey, ask one of the guys like, hey, would you mind running out with this person, show them the field,
Absolutely.
get them mingled in.
yeah,
Like this one kid came out, I think it was like, I don't know, 13, 14, 15 or something like that. The mom was really worried about the kid not being able to like make friends, where I was like, hey, we'll just have him run with one of our guys. Ended up with like 2-3 friends
Yeah.
after that.
If you come to a G2 field, you're not just coming to play airsoft. You're coming to make friends.
Mm-hmm.
You may not realize it when you get there. I mean, I sure as shit didn't think we were going to make friends when we first went down to I-70 that first time. I figured it was just going to be the two of us kind of playing in our corner, doing our quiet thing, just playing and having fun, shooting some people and whatnot. And before we left that day, we were already making friends.
Yeah.
Not necessarily G2 because we barely got to know them, but like we definitely made friends.
Yeah, I think to circle back though, probably the worst advice initially probably came from me, between the two of us, just in how much gear we bought. Like we have differences, and we found throughout the way that we have two different obvious play styles and way of doing things. And
Well, it's funny because like I remember when we were doing all of our research, there was a video I was watching from a airsoft YouTuber who's like, don't go out and buy all this gear. You know, just go out and in your jeans and your shirt and, you know, rent a gun or buy a cheap one or whatever. Do that. And I was like, I played paintball. I really enjoyed it. And I always regretted not getting deeper into it. I'm going to enjoy this. And it worked out for me. But that being said, that is very good advice. I know that's not where we're at on this topic line, but like that is very good advice. You don't need everything.
Yeah.
You really don't.
And that's one of the things
Anyone who thinks you
hear
do is-
a lot of people.
it's devolved by the time the last few times that I went to play, though. It basically devolved in I wear my chest plate because that's what has everything.
Yeah.
But like I have my G2 shirt and jeans. Like what I'm wearing right now is what I would play in.
Yeah, it
I
seems
wouldn't
like
even wear
it's
the BDUs half the time.
It's like a ramp up thing. Like everybody thinks like when like even like a lot of the new people come out, they're like, or new people I just talked to, they're like, oh, you gotta have all that stuff to go play. I'm like, no, you just need an iPro and a replica. That's it, and then you can come out and enjoy it.
Yeah.
And even that
Granted-
with you, they don't need the replica. They can
No,
just
they can
rent
come
it.
rent.
Granted, camo helps you because you're playing in the woods.
Yeah.
But then like everybody like gets all this gear, and then they start decreasing the amount of gear because they're like, why do I need to have all this stuff?
And not only that, but
Because a lot of it sounds good in the beginning.
right.
But then you're like, the usefulness of it is like so sparse.
Well, not only that, but you see like some teams like I'm not sure what I don't know any team names off the top of my head, but I know there's groups of people that will come and play, and sometimes they'll just do a flannel day where they're all wearing the same flannel or some sort of flannel together.
Yeah.
And it's like they've been playing long enough, they know that, and I wish that was a message you could get more out to people who are thinking about playing in the sport. Is like you literally could show up in whatever, and as long as you didn't look awkward and you came with a halfway decent looking gun, people would never realize it was your first time playing. Like obviously when we showed up, people thought it wasn't our first time playing, but that's because we were almost too geared. Like we looked like we were going to a milsim. Which
see, that's
should have
where I
been a hint,
think a lot of
actually.
the stuff comes from.
Really should have been.
Is that a lot of people think that they have to be at the level of a milsim, and they see all these people wearing all this gear. That's for milsim stuff where you're going out for 2-3 days, you know, and you need to have that stuff with you to carry extra food or whatever, water.
15
and stuff.
mags.
15 mags.
But for an open play,
I don't always carry the 15 mags.
you can walk back to your car, you can walk back
Sometimes
up top,
it's tools.
whatever, you know, on the daily, on the
Right,
hour.
yeah.
So you don't need to have all that.
Sometimes
Anything
it's,
else to add to
sometimes
the
it's
bad
cookie
advice?
bars.
It wasn't cookie bars. It was Cliff bars.
Yeah, same thing.
I had like 3 of them in here. They're gone. But
Anything else to add to the bad advice?
not really on the bad
I think that's
advice, no. The bad advice is not play. Anyone who says to not play airsoft, that's bad advice.
That's the worst.
That's the worst advice ever.
Because I tell you what, like when I got back from Iraq, I always thought everybody was a pile of shit because like they didn't meet my level of expectations.
Because you
from
were
when I
used
got
to being
back.
in, and being shot
Yeah.
at by real bullets.
Yeah, where we had to do things like I mentioned in the last video, like we had to do things that depended on our survival.
Yeah.
And meeting the people in the airsoft really just kind of changed that around for me because
It's frustrating. Like when we went to Georgia, we were playing as a team, and I remember you and I dying for it. We were gonna charge into a building, and I was trying to get people to go with us, and nobody was afraid. Wanted to come around a corner because they were afraid of getting hit. I'm like, it's just plastic.
yeah, it's a beauty.
Worst case scenario, you're taking a hike back to the respawn.
Yeah.
Just go and enjoy
Or you
the
get
game.
buddied by someone who survived. Remember that one time? I don't know if you guys were there. It was at Battlegrounds, and we rigged up those smoke grenades in that hallway
Oh yeah.
because there was poison at the time,
Mhm.
and the,
Yep.
only one guy brought a mask.
Yep.
Yep.
He
Only
had
one
to
guy brought
revive-
an ass.
he
I remember
revived his
people
whole team.
spilling out of that building.
Yep.
And he spent like 20 minutes trying to revive everybody because it was a 30-second hand.
That was a long mission.
A very long mission.
Yeah, I was like, that's what you get for not working. And they just had to bring a paint mask or
Yeah,
something.
the funny
you
thing
know?
is, like, it was very well told during
The N95
tax off for
masks.
that.
We had plenty left over.
Yeah. The tax op straight up said, like, you're probably going to need a gas mask of some sort. Almost anything will do, and nobody but one guy brought it. That's another
'cause
thing
they
about
don't read the
advice.
task
Not
op.
reading the tax op. Please read it.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna do the last dab.
Mm-hmm. You should dab this one.
Yeah, this one I'm not pouring out any. I'm just gonna be right on a tiny little drop, and I've been there, done this.
This one's a little chunky. You gotta
Spank the baby.
beat it out a little.
Beat it.
You're not going that crazy? What? There's ground up peppers in there.
So we'll go over what was like your top 2 pieces of gear that you liked, that you